Hello, hello, hello. The Hangout is live. Welcome, everybody, to the Gin and Tonic Show. The Gin and Tonic Show is a show where people are looking at Islam from a non-believer perspective, not trying to sell a god or make anyone abandon their god or gods or whatever the case may be. We want to discuss a belief in this specific in the Islamic God, the specific God in Islam, the one and only God. And we want to help everyone to understand what Islam is, where it came from in history, and what it means today in the 21st century. And as non-believers, I at least, I poke fun at the strange ideas found in Islam and the Islamic texts, and hence the name Jinn and Tonic. Now, what we try and do is we get followers of Islam to, just chill, not take themselves and their beliefs so serious, and just join in the discussion, adhering to what their Quran commands in 16:125, explaining their ideology in a polite manner. So we should have a discussion whether human belief with this God belief or God's belief or whatever talks to a human being without this belief. And this is the human with the belief, the theist, meeting the person without the atheist, or simply the human plus nothing is the human. Since the atheist does only one thing, not believe, there is no ism or act of non-believing. Now, what I found this morning is that I woke up this morning and then I realized I do not play the piano. And I do a lot of that. But if I don't play the piano, and I do this a lot, does that mean I'm an A pianist? And if I don't play the piano very intensely, does that make me follow A pianism? You see, it's ridiculous. And that is why, and I always, sometimes I think, no, I should just jump in and skip this definitions thing. People by now understand, and I find again and again, no, they do not. Now, I've had a particularly shit week. It's been really terrible. But what can I do? And then the funny thing is that people come to me and they say, you atheists claim that the earth made itself or came through chance or by nothing or something. No, that's not what an atheist does. An atheist simply does not believe in gods. And that's it. So I don't care if the theory of evolution is correct or not. So, it's quite funny that I still, in the 21st century, and we have the internet and every means possible for anyone to educate themselves, that I still need to define something as basic as atheist. It's just as a philatelist has an empty stamp album. So there's nothing that an atheist has to show and makes no claims or demands, and that's it. Now, unfortunately, many theists skew the presentation of theists. They demand we identify as something that we are not, and then still claim that theists have brought in science, are more charitable, provide social cohesion, and they don't see how incredibly dishonest this is. They don't see that religions have had humanity in a squeeze for like thousands of years. And people in the past did not have a choice and had to attest to the existence of a God. And that's what Islam is trying to bring back by any means. So what we want to do on the Gin and Tonic Show is inspect, analyze, and discuss this Islam, the teachings, the ideas, and why people would believe any or all of this, all the aspects. And I at least see Islam as a religion which determines and defines the implementation of Islam, the political ideology where the primary goal is to implement a caliphate on the entire planet, based on Sharia, the Islamic law, which in turn is based on Islamic texts or their interpretation. And this common submission of all mankind to the God is then called peace. Not the absence of violence or destruction, but this common submission. And then this implementation of Sharia also results in a socio-economic system, a worldview, a way of life, where life for this group, this ummah, this group of Muslims who all believe that this God exists, is seen as a test with a reward at the end, or severe torture. Now, the funny thing is there are so many different versions of Islam, so many different versions of a Muslim, of the followers of Islam, that at the end of the day, there is no such thing as the Islam, and there is no such thing as the Muslim. And the political disagreement over 1,000 years ago led to the infighting of the title of a caliph, resulting in the splits, and they have the Sunnis and the Shias, and then all the subgroups and all that. So there is no one Muslim. And today we have several Islamic republics where their God is the highest authority, and no law may contradict the Quran. So Islam is not just another religion. No matter how many times Muslim apologists say, yeah, but we love Jesus and we love Moses. No, it's a different God with a different goal, with a different set of tools. It's a complex system based on a Quran which requires human interpretation, left, right, and center. Secondary texts which equally vague, ambiguous, and require interpretation.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, say what?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, hello. My name is Walid, and I'm a Muslim. I'm doing my research. So I have read about Islamic history and many views. But you say to me that the Sharia law doesn't contradict the Quran. To me, it does contradict the Quran. Because in the Quran, it says that you have to lash the adulterer 100 times. But in the Sharia, it says, well, no, you have to stone the fornicator or the adulterer 100 times. Well, you have to stone him to death, you know.
Well, so not under all circumstances.
Well, yes, I understand that, but in the Quran it says, "Wazani wazani ajliduhum mi'atan marra." It doesn't say give a death penalty, you know.
So, no, exactly. But then in the Sharia, you have different interpretations depending on the madhab that you are in. So then this is exactly what I'm trying to show, that the Quran requires interpretation. This is what I just said, and then the Hadith, the interpretation of the secondary texts, then make up what is Sharia, which is based on human interpretation. Like the Quran does not say alcohol is prohibited, but the Hadith say alcohol is prohibited. So we have a lot of this.
Yes, there's a doctor, his name is Muhammad Talbi. He's a Tunisian historian and a Muslim, Quranic Muslim. He said that he doesn't believe in the Sharia law, and he said that was made up by human beings after the death of Prophet Muhammad. And he believes that alcohol is is permissible, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, I mean, Quranists also say that.
Yes, but it's very contradicting to me, like stoning people to death, give them death penalty. But I think that other few madhabs, they agree with death penalty to apostates. They agree like stoning people to death. Yeah, they agree with that, I think. But the main issues.
If you say that you are a Muslim, I've just said there is no such thing as the Muslim. What group of Muslims do you belong to?
Yeah, well, I was born as a Sunni Muslim, but at the end I was reading, and you know the problem is in Europe, we only have Salafi translated books in Dutch, so I don't know Arabic. Like, so if I go to the library in the mosque, I only read Salafi books. So I was a Salafi for a bit, but didn't make sense to me because it was so conservative. You cannot give a woman a hand, you cannot do this, cannot do that. You have to, you know, like you grow your beard or else you're going to hell. You know, those crazy beliefs. So at the end, I was researching about Quran alone Islam. It made sense, but at the end, how can you pray? How can you do many practical things? So it was to me not complete. So at the end, I don't know which Muslim I am. I'm just a non-denominational Muslim. So I don't have any sects or groups. I'm just a Muslim. That's it, you know.
Do you know the group called Free Minds?
Yes, freeminds.org?
Yeah.
Yes, I have their translation of the Quran.
Exactly. Yes. Now, what there some guys are propagating, and this is, I maintain that this is quite interesting, because what they are saying, Islam is not about the rituals, because what you learn in the Sunnah, in the secondary texts, are the rituals. Okay, and this is what makes today's Islam a ritualistic grouping of people who only decide whether or not they, exactly what you are saying, grow the beard and what you wear, what you do, and whether you put your arms this high or this high and so on. What they are saying is let us bring the spirit back. Let us bring back that we believe in a God, and we believe that Muhammad existed, yes, but he was just a person. He was just there to show that the laws that God had implemented were able to be lived by a human being, and that's it. And go away from the Hadith, which happened 300 years later anyway. And if the prayer had been so important to this God would have put it into the Quran. And this is their attitude, and this is their way of doing things, which I respect more than the people who are trying to interpret the hadiths and who are contradicting each other and the Quran and everything within itself, who are trying to make that fit. So, yep, I agree with you.
Yes, you have the Salafis who actually, I don't believe in the Salaf Salih. They believe that those Salafis are the Salaf Salih, that they are like the rightly guided and they are the example. But if you read the Islamic history, like the Salafis, they killed each other, they fighted each other. Like Ali ibn Abi Talib, he fighted Aisha. Like Marwan ibn Abdul Hakim, who was also a Salaf Salih, he killed Talha, I think, in the Battle of Jamal. Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, who is mostly hated by Shia Muslims, he was also like a Salaf Salih. Like Yazid ibn Muawiyah was the son of Muawiyah, who was an alcoholic. Like he is like one of the Salaf Salih. And that didn't make sense to me. Like those people, criminals, you know.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is, if you go into history and you go to the Umayyads, if you say that Muawiyah, while we're talking about him, I mean, he didn't reside and he did not lead the empire from Mecca or Medina, but from Damascus. Now, he was exactly what you are saying. I mean, he was into alcohol, he was into women, he was fat as hell, and you know, it was a very worldly leader, and he never even mentioned anything about Allah and the Quran and things like that. So it's quite strange, as you say. But now you still believe in a God, right?
Yes, I'm still monotheist, but I watched many. I'm an open-minded person, so you know, I watched many videos of atheists, you know, about the critic of Islam and Quran, and you know, I respect that, you know.
Okay, but if you believe in a God, can I just ask why do you believe that?
Because I believe there has to be a creator for this
Why?
world. Yes, there has to be a creator, you know.
Why?
Why? I don't because you know, if you compare it like, you know, the human being, like how he's like created, and if you compare to a computer, like a computer has a screen, has a CPU, has like a random access memory, it has those components, and if a component doesn't work, then you know a computer cannot work well. So it is the same as the human body. If something doesn't work, then you know your whole body cannot function well. So not about that, but just believe in God. You didn't see God, you just believe in it, you know. Yeah.
So because there are computers, you believe a God exists?
No, no, not like that. But I just believe in God because you know, because I just believe in a Creator. You know, yes, it's just belief. It's not you have the evidence. You know, there's no evidence for a God. You cannot see a God. You know,
So
it's just
why do you
believing it.
believe it?
Huh?
So why do you believe it?
Why do I believe in God? Because I believe there is a Creator for this world. I believe that. You know, that's what I believe.
Okay, and this is what I'm curious about. Why do you believe that there's a creator? What makes you say that? Because I don't see any evidence for any creation, and I'm curious, what is it that you see that is being created?
I think the human beings, the animals, like the sun and the moon, you know, if the sun comes too close to the earth, we'll all burn, something like that. And if it is far away, we will like die because it will be too cold. It's like a system. You will feel that's like a system. Well, if you only wake up when it is like when it is in the morning, you will not wake up when it is in the night. You know. So people live in the morning and go sleep in the night or something like that. So it is a system. Like you feel there's a system. You know.
Okay, but don't you think that life, human beings, have adapted to the system, to the outside world?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know because you also see that animals. we also live like that, you know.
Okay, but let me. You said that if Earth comes too close to the sun, then this will happen, and too far. What if it does?
What if it does? We will die, you know.
Okay, but how much closer are we talking?
I'm not a scientist. It's just what I know. You know, I'm not a professor or something like that. But you know, if it comes too close to the sun, you know, we will all die because it will be too warm. You know,
But
if it,
what is too close?
huh? If
What
it
is
comes, if it comes closer, you know,
how much
it's
closer?
no, it's not. If it comes, it's like it is perfect. You know, it's not perfect, but it is, you know, in a good distance. You know, so that we will not burn, and so that we will have a normal climate.
Okay, so if it comes closer to the sun and
Yes.
something burns, does that mean there is no God?
Uh, I think yes.
Okay, but do you know how much Earth actually varies the distance between the sun and where we are today?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know that.
You're not a scientist, but you're basing your belief on science.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
So if you say if Earth comes any closer to the sun that it would burn, okay,
Yes.
how much closer are we talking? Are we talking 5 meters,
No,
500
no, I don't
meters?
know how close. I don't know that. But you know, it is in a good distance. You know, so that we not cannot burn. You know, I don't know how much
How
meters.
do
How
you know
much?
that? How do you know that?
How do we know that? Because if you go too close, it is. How do we know that? Because it is. If it comes too close to you, it will burn the whole earth. You know, it is in a good distance that we can, you know, can have a bit sun and the moon. You know.
Don't you think that life would adapt to a hotter condition?
Uh, I don't know. Maybe not.
Okay, but are you aware that the distance between Earth and Sun varies every year by 5 million kilometers?
No, I don't know that.
That's what it is.
Okay.
So does that mean there is no God?
No, no.
There are a
I can.
septillion planets in the universe, and the fact that we've got like one planet that we know of that can host life, complex life, it's not that surprising when you bear in mind how many planets there are, how many rolls of the dice there have been.
Sorry.
Now, the
You're,
point
you're,
that Jeremy is trying to make is that there are so many planets that
Yes.
it's actually quite normal that you would expect to have life on one of these planets,
Yes.
given the conditions that we have. But the point of the matter, because what I'm trying to find out from you is
Yes.
what is the basis of your belief? Why is it that you believe what you believe? Because I appreciate what you are believing.
Yes.
And what I appreciate also is you've given it a great deal of thought. What I appreciate is that you have come to a conclusion based on reality, which is
Yes.
very
Well,
rare
no,
in a Muslim. Because
yeah, I don't believe that. I believe in dictating God, like, you know, in the Bible or something like that. You know, just I believe in a God because it's, yeah, you can say it's a kind of feeling, but then you say, well, it's something in your brain, something like that. It's a kind of feeling, and it's a good feeling to believe in creator, that you were created. You know, because
but
I
wouldn't you
believe.
prefer a good feeling if it were true?
Yes, of course. I'm looking for the truth. Of course, I'm not a. I don't want to be a blind follower or something like that. That's not my goal. You know, I want to. That's why I
Yep.
research. That's why I research Islam. You know, that's why I research Islam with open mind. And I'm ignorant because I'm not a perfect human being. So maybe what I say it's not perfect, but that is what I believe. I believe that there's a God. You know, that's, you know.
No, but you are a Muslim, the
Yes.
first one, by the way, that I have ever come across who has gone to such lengths to actually think about their own belief.
Yeah.
And who is still a Muslim, because normally people who have done what you have done realize, well, no, this is
Well,
not
I
really.
was thinking, like, uh, you know, what the biggest problem was when I read the Sirah of Prophet Muhammad, like how they treated slave women, like how, you know, he had a relationship with Safiya, the Jewish woman, like many things, how they treated women in general, I cannot accept that, but I don't know how to deal with it, because
Yeah,
in
but his
real
God
life,
didn't do anything about it.
in real life, I cannot talk with my dad about it or something like that.
Yeah.
I talked about my dad, but he also disagrees, and he told me some stories what happens in Saudi Arabia or in other countries. So, it was shocking. When I read the story of Safiya and Muhammad, I really, one night I could not sleep because of that story. I really could not sleep.
Okay.
Really, because it is really strange. Like, you kill 800 people, and at the end, you will have a relationship with a white woman of them. It's like I don't know.
Okay, but do you believe that this actually happened?
I don't know if it happened or not. So, because those reports were compiled of the death of Prophet Muhammad. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, but if it happened, isn't it strange that this God allowed it to happen?
Huh?
Isn't it strange that the God allows this to happen?
Well, wouldn't he not allow it? Because I don't know. That's God. Maybe He creates and let it be like that.
How do you know that?
It's just what I think. It is my choice. If I want to kill a human being, it is my choice to do that.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
It's my freedom. Like, if I want to rape somebody or something like that, it's not an issue with God. It's like we have this free will, to do everything what we want. So
yeah, but it's God's decision as to whether He endorses it in the Quran or not.
What did you say?
It's God's decision, Allah's decision as to whether He endorses it in the Quran.
Mm-hmm. So what's your question?
That's not a human decision, is it? If God wrote the Quran.
I don't know, because it is. If you are a free thinker, it's awkward that God expresses Himself in a book. That's a bit strange.
Okay, you said that Islam is the logical way to go.
Well, if you compare to other relations to let's say Christianity, Judaism, there are many relations, by the way, and there are many people who claim prophethood. That was also something strange, but it makes more sense to me, believing in one God, that makes more sense.
Yeah, but there are 200 gods.
200
which are active today. All 200, all claim they created the universe, they created the humans, and blah, blah.
No.
So why this God?
Which 200 gods?
There are different gods today.
Yes, which god? Can you mention someone?
Like Vishnu.
Yeah, but Vishnu, the problem is, we do not make images of God. We say Allah, la ilaha illallah. There is no God but He. So
How do you know that? How do you know that?
You don't know that. You believe in it. That's relation.
Okay, but why? why not take Vishnu? Because it's much easier.
No, because because Vishnu doesn't make any sense, because you can destroy that picture. You can, it doesn't make sense to worship a picture.
But that's just the representation or the manifestation. The God behind it is still very, very untouchable.
Yeah, I don't know. They read about Hinduism, but I don't believe in polytheism. So, but I don't believe in Vishnu.
A Hindu will say.
But if you read those Hindu stories, there was a god who couldn't save his wife or something, or there were gods who were fighting against each other. It doesn't make sense,
Okay, so what do you? Okay, let me just. Is this what you believe? Let me just read this back to you. What you are saying is Islam makes sense because other gods do not have the capabilities and abilities that the God in Islam has.
Yes, I believe what I believe. I don't have proof. I believe. That is belief.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, I believe that there is no God but He. That is God. I believe that God is not a human being or a Vishnu or something like that. That's what I believe. So yes, what you're saying is right.
And I understand that 100%. The only thing that I don't understand is why. And that is why I'm trying to find out, okay, if a God in a different religion, in a different set of beliefs, has similar properties compared
Yes,
to the God in Islam, how would you
God.
then
If
decide?
if polytheistic God with the image, I will not believe in it. Well, if it is a God like Allah who is almost the same, but he has another name, that is another story, of course.
Okay, but what if there is a God which also says I can do anything I want? I'm super powerful. I'm super this,
Yeah.
and I'm the only one. And I created the universe. I created all life, and I think that you should walk around with your left foot pointing outwards or something. Why would you now say that this God is the wrong one and yours in the Islamic God is still better?
Because I don't know that God, so I don't know how to judge. Because you give me a God, well, maybe this God doesn't even exist in any religion. But talking about the Hindus believe in one God at the end, because they believe in those demigods, but at the end they believe in one God.
Correct.
If you read the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita, there is some monotheism. Well,
Okay, what about Jews?
Jews are also monotheist because they are Abrahamic, you know.
What
So
about Zoroastrians?
I don't know about Zoroastrians.
Sikhs.
Sikhs, yeah, Sikhs as well.
Sikhs, they also believe in one God, you know.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. You have a lot of single
Yes,
gods,
yes.
and at the end of the day, I once counted them, but there's like 200 which are active today.
Okay.
There are different beliefs in different countries, in different
Yes.
cultures, who all have their own gods.
Yes.
And this is why I'm wondering, why is it this particular one, or what about this particular one attracts you and makes you believe without looking for anything else, and what makes you happy that this God exists?
Yes, because this God was not created. Did not have the begin. Well, it sounds
How do
logical
you
to
how
us.
do you know?
No.
How did you
No,
establish that?
no. Check. You know, you cannot ask a religious person, how do you know? God is something you believe in it or not. Now, I cannot believe it. I also cannot believe in God. That's my own choice. But I believe in God. That is belief. Belief is something you don't have the evidence for that. You know.
Okay, what is God?
Huh?
What is God for you?
Well, Allah, God, the same for me. Well, that's a good question. Actually, that's a very good question. Because God is for me. He created everything. You know.
Why he?
Well, I don't know, she or he. Well, let's say God created everything without a he or she. You know? Well, God created everything and created us and created animals, and that's it. You know, and I don't know. Actually, I don't know if the Quran is from God. I don't know. I don't have evidence. Maybe, you know, Prophet Muhammad made it up himself. You don't know. You don't have evidence. You don't have this physical evidence. You know. Yeah.
Okay, so what you are saying is, if there's another book with a more powerful God with better attributes, then you will go and change.
No. Not change.
You will not change.
Well, give me that book. Give me that book. You know.
Well, anybody can write a book. I can write a book now, and then I will give it to you, and it will describe a much more powerful God. And then what? Are you going to change, or are you not going to change?
Of course not. No, because
why are you not going to change? You just
okay.
told me that
Yeah.
because this God created everything, and everything is beautiful,
Yes.
and everything is so nicely
That's why
designed in the system.
I believe in one God. I cannot change. I go to the other God. I believe in one God who has no partner. So I believe that He's the only one God without partners. So I don't have to look for other gods. So the problem is that we say, well, maybe you have other gods. No, I say there's no God but He. So there's no God but Allah. So I don't believe in the other gods. So I don't believe in them. Don't say to me why that's a philosophical question. Then we can discuss for 2 hours or something like that.
Okay, but if you would have been born in Tel Aviv, you would have also believed in the one God, but
Yes,
a different one.
I don't know if the Jewish God is different. I don't know. I didn't research Judaism, but there are many similarities between the Abrahamic religions.
How is it beneficial to you to believe in a God on no evidence? On no evidence?
Beneficial? Yes. Well, I don't know.
Presumably that's why you believe it, because you think it's beneficial.
Yes.
You're better off believing.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's say.
Okay, I've got one last question,
Yeah,
and then
okay,
I'd like intro to ask a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
If how would I, as a non-believer,
Yes.
distinguish between the God that you believe in without any evidence
Yes.
and a non-existent God?
I don't know how to distinguish. I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know. You have to make your own research, but I don't know how to live like a disbeliever.
Yeah, but it
Because-
sounds to me like you haven't researched anything. You just said, let me read the Quran. I will accept the Quran and I will believe what it says.
No. I didn't say. No, I didn't say that. I blindly believe in Quran. I didn't say. Well, I also said maybe it is just made by a human. Also, give you that option. So actually, I still don't know. You know, that's why I'm still making my research. You know.
Okay.
So I don't have a clear conclusion. So that's why I'm here to share ideas and get
Brilliant. Yeah, and that's a very good approach that you're taking. At least you are thinking and you're talking about it, and you accept that there are other options, which I commend, which is different. Okay, I'm going to take a backseat intro.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. Sorry if Waleed was if you were feeling like you were being bombarded with questions or anything like that. This is how we discuss and everything on the show. So I just don't want you to feel like overwhelmed. You know, we're having a good discussion, but and I'm glad you're open-minded, because a lot of Muslims are not open-minded like you. So I just wanted to say thanks for coming on the show and stuff. And I wanted to, since you expressed that doubt, though, you expressed the doubt of, I'm not sure if the Quran is the word of God, but in Surah Al-Baqarah, in the second chapter of the Quran, it says the first words are, "This is a book of no doubt," and throughout the Quran, it also says, the only religion accepted from people will be Islam. It also says in the Quran that the Jews who have rejected this message, Allah has sealed their hearts. So if you're not 100% sure in the Quran, how can you reject the Hadith? How could you still follow the Quran?
Yes.
What-
Well,
you know what I mean?
I will tell you. I will tell you. First, I talked about the past when I rejected those hadiths. Now I'm researching the Quran, so I didn't make a conclusion. So I'm still researching yet. So I didn't make a conclusion that I believe in the Quran or not. So I still make a research. I'm still making my research, and after that, we will see. So I at least admit that I'm ignorant. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a doctor or something like that. But
Well,
I'm still,
wouldn't you classify yourself more as an agnostic then, than
yes,
more of a Muslim?
yes. Well, the problem is for me, I'm just careful to make a decision. I'm not somebody who directly leaves his own religion or something like that. So yes, I'm more agnostic. I'm more like that. So I'm still making my research. That's why I'm here to listen to you and to have a clear look. Hello.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that you're doing your research still and everything like that. So that's good. I don't know if Spam wants to take it away.
No, I was just curious. This is why I was bombarding Walid. I was bombarding you with questions because I'm really curious why it is that people believe without any evidence. This is quite, for me, this is quite weird. I mean, this
Yes,
is.
I will tell you. I will tell you. Why people I won't talk about me. I will talk about general. Like people are born in those environments. Like if you live in a Hindu society or something, that will follow the taqlid. You will follow like their religion blindly. Those are human beings do that. If you born in a Jewish family, you will probably be Jew, and etc. This is taqlid. Even Tunisia, talking about Islam. Even Tunisians are not real Muslim, but they mix their local cultures with Islam. They sometimes come to the grave or something, do those rituals who are not in the Hadith or in the Quran. So even in the whole world, people just this is where they're born. Like, depends where you are born. You know.
Yeah.
I think what you're trying to say is that when you look at the beach, for example, you see the sand, it's so beautiful, or you see the sky and it's just so beautiful. I think it's going back to the watchmaker argument that a lot of theists like to propose. They say, just look at how beautiful the world is. You cannot say that there is no creator.
Yeah, but
I think that's where you're.
he had another question, like how people, like I said, people are born into that, they are grown up into that. But about the belief of God, yes, of course, if you talk with theists, monotheists, polytheists, say, well, everything's beautiful, God created the trees, God created that, this and that, you know. So yes, that's a good conclusion.
But Walid, are you afraid of God?
Personally, I don't know. I don't know. Uh, I'm a bit afraid of God, but I can sleep, you know, normal.
Are you afraid of hell?
And now I'm not afraid of hell. No, I'm not. You have people, well, afraid of hell is to me like you have people who cry, while they are praying, who cry, you know. You know why I still believe that, you know, the Quran can be an option, because when I recited the Quran in Arabic, I really cried when I was reciting Surah Ar-Rahman. So that was like, oh, maybe it's from God. I don't know, but people cry.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay, but that's emotion, and that's about the format. That's not about the contents. I'm just thinking, why do you believe that there's a God
Yes.
if you're not afraid of hell, so
Yes,
you're not
yes.
afraid of the punishment? So why would you go and dance to the tune of this God?
You know, yeah, you had a lot of questions, but I cannot answer all questions because I also didn't question so much things. I'm still on my research, what I say. So, because, well, I'm not afraid of hell because I never saw hell. It was only written. So
Yeah, but you've
it's
never
like
seen God, but you're afraid of this God.
no, it's like if you read something, it's not how it is in real. It's like if you read like 800 people were killed, you didn't see that, you didn't feel that, you know. So I don't know. I cannot answer your question actually this time because I don't have a proper answer.
No. It's not about. There's no. No, it's fine. There's no right or wrong. Okay, I'm not here to test you or something. I'm just incredibly curious
Yes,
because
yes,
I'm
yes.
trying to understand what it is, and this is why I'm asking you these questions. There's no right or wrong. It's just I'm just picking your brain to see what it is that made you decide to do this. Because if what would be the difference for you between.
Between, hello? Yes, between what?
Listen, can you stop this, please? What would be the difference between you believing what you believe now and not believing?
I don't know. Maybe the morals, you know, because Islam gives you some morals. How to treat your parents, how to do this, how to do that. Maybe the rules will change. I think the rules will change a lot. I think.
What morals? The Quran says that you should not treat your parents well.
No, yes, that you should treat your parents well, be
Yeah, but it
good to
also
them.
says that you should not treat them well. So there's a contradiction here.
Why? Where in Quran?
The Quran says different things
Yes, yes, I understand.
in different places. So
Yes,
that and
yes, uh, I don't remember those surahs, but you have like about the satanic verses. I don't know which verse it was, which chapter, but if some people say, well, oh, this satanic verses, so Quran has to be satanic. But if you read like this other verse under the satanic verses, then you see that it's not the Quran is not satanic. Some Christians do that. Some Christians.
okay, but if the Quran would tell you not to treat parents well, what would that do to you?
I don't know. Maybe I will not accept it. Maybe I will not practice it. You know.
So
Maybe.
you decide what part of the Quran is good for you and what part is not?
Yes, now I decided. Yes, actually, yes. Actually, yes.
So what is the point of having a Quran? You could do it yourself. You don't, I mean, why do you need a God? Because you could be a good person without a God. You could lead a
Yes,
good life without a God. So why
yes,
have the
yes.
God?
Yeah. Well, I believe like well, the Quran says, well, do not ولا تقربوا الزنا, do not commit adultery, not commit fornication. Like if you have your own morals, you think, well, maybe adultery is good, maybe going to go and have sex with another woman is good, maybe for me it's good, But the Quran says no, don't do that, So it gives you some, like, give you a limit.
Okay, so you have decided to accept this.
What the Quran? Now, I didn't come with a decision, so I don't know.
No. What I mean is you have decided that
Yes.
if the Quran says you should not have sex outside of marriage, that this is
Yes.
good for you.
I think it is good. I think it's very good. I think it's good not to have sex.
Well, I think it's stupid, but you have decided that for you it's good. Now, why can't you decide this without the Quran?
Huh? Why can't? I don't know. Why can't I decide outside the Quran?
But a lot of people don't have sex just because they don't feel like it. So
Yes, yeah, you have different people. You have different people. You have also the priests who just want to imitate Jesus, and they will not have sex their whole lives. But at the end, they will abuse children, or, like, I don't know, people who cannot see or something like that. So I don't know about it.
I wanted to ask you a question real quick,
Yes,
if I
yes.
may. I just wanted to ask, like, do you believe in heaven or hell, real quick,
Uh,
in both of them?
yeah, what I believe, really, what I believe, like, if somebody was bad, like Hitler or something like that, or he was real bad, I believe he has to be punished. Like, there has to be justice. I cannot come and kill
I
innocent
understand.
people.
Like,
Well, Hitler lived a good life. Like, come on, he was the Führer. He was everything. Well, he died at how old was he? Like 60 years, 70 years. So he lived his whole life well without being, like,
well,
stuff.
my main thing, the reason why I asked this is because I
So
know.
I at least believe in the judgment. I believe
Okay.
that people will be judged.
The reason why I asked is because, like, the biggest sin in the Quran, according to the Quran, is shirk.
Yes,
It's
shirk.
associating partners. So I want to ask you.
I don't associate partners with
Right. So I wanted to ask you, like, if someone were a really good person and
Yes.
he believed in
Yes.
Jesus and he
Okay.
believed that Jesus was a good person and a good
Well,
God,
I will
and
tell you. I will
he
tell you.
did. Hold on, real quick. Like, he
Yes.
did so many good things. Would you believe that he will go to hell, or do you believe he will go to heaven? And
No.
same thing with the Hindus and
Yes.
Sikhs of the world.
Islam is a very complicated religion. Here you have those four madhabs, like the Maliki madhab, Hanafi. You have also have those theological schools like the Maturidi madhab, the Ash'ari madhab, the Mu'tazila madhab. Okay, I will give you an example. Like, the Ash'aris believe that if you live like a polytheist and no one warned you, no one said to that's bad what you're doing. Just live like in a community which you did not have any monotheistic message. You will not go to hell. First, and well, the Maturidi believe that everybody who is a polytheist, if you're God good or not, you will go to hell because it's your own responsibility. But there are people who have different opinions. That is the theological schools. Like, you have the Mu'tazilites. The Mu'tazilites, they are like something else. They are. I believe that the Mu'tazilites were like the atheist Muslims, something like that.
they were the Quranists of the old, yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of a God sends people to hell because they don't believe in him?
Yeah, that's your freedom, I think, to believe in it.
Is that a God worth worshipping?
I think because he created you.
But you're assuming that people know he exists just because they've heard a message from other human beings.
Yes, but personally, I don't want to go into this endless discussion. So, but I don't know. Maybe he will have mercy with you.
But do you believe that God is good?
I believe that. Yes, of
Why?
course. Huh?
Why?
Huh? Naam.
Well,
Wait. Yeah, sorry.
the question is, how do you know that God is good?
That's a very good question. You know, I think it's a very good question. You are a good free thinker. How do you know that? Yes, you can say, well, God is bad because he made sick people and he made,
No. Not
but
being not good is not the same as being bad. I'm asking, how do you know that he's good?
how do you know? Because if you believe in God, well, let's go to that level. Because you know that why God is good, because he created everything for us. You know? That's why he's good.
Why do you believe that? Okay, no, but hang on. You say, all right, I need to believe that a God exists. All right, so let's just say a God exists. Okay,
Huh?
but now you're saying
Yes.
God created the universe. A God created
Yes.
the earth for us.
Yes.
Now, how do you know that this is for a good purpose? How do you know that in 2 million years this God is not going to eat all the humans because we are just fruit, we are just food for this God? How do you know this?
You don't know this. You just believe that God is good. That's not what I told you before. You believe in God. You don't know that there's no evidence. Oh, hi God, how are you? No, there's no evidence. You know. So
then why do you believe that God is
that's
good if there's no evidence?
The problem is, people believe in God, good because He created them. You know, He created him. Why is He bad? You don't know.
Well, we create a lot of shrimp because we want to eat them.
We create a lot of what?
Of shrimps.
We don't create them.
We create fish. We create all sorts of things because we want to eat them. We
No.
created bananas because we want to eat them. How do you not know that we are just bananas?
Oh, that's a good question that I cannot answer. I cannot answer.
Actually,
But
Spam.
you didn't create the original banana, right?
Actually, Spam. That is quite a good analogy because God says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, and I haven't created the men and the jinn except for worshipping me.
Exactly.
He has created us for a specific purpose, according to.
Okay, but maybe this God is a liar. Maybe he just wants to eat us.
Yeah.
What's the evidence for that?
What is the evidence for what?
What is the evidence that he wants to eat us?
No. This was a hypothetical scenario.
Okay.
But can I say another thing about, like you said, you believe that Hitler have to have a punishment or something.
Yes.
I mean, I think many atheists would agree that it would be kind of fair that if Hitler got punished. But that doesn't make it true for that. I mean, there are other religions, like in Buddhism, you have the idea of karma, that if you do something bad, sooner or later it's going to come back to you.
Yes.
And that's a nice idea. I think it would be better. It would definitely would be a more just world if it were like that. But that doesn't make it true. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, the Buddhists, the Hindus, they believe in reincarnation. So, according to them, maybe Hitler will now lead a bad life, something like that.
Yeah, but you see, if you make a kind of epistemological, if you make an argument that the God must exist and hellfire and all that must exist because Hitler is bad and he should be punished, that doesn't mean that he's gonna be punished.
No, this is just an example, like about many injustices. Like if I beat you to death or something like that, well, who's going to punish me? You know?
Yeah, I understand. It's more just, but who
Yes.
said the world is just? Maybe the world is just like it is.
Yes, maybe.
Completely unfair. Like when you.
Well, we humans make it unfair, you know.
Well, God creates, like, the tsunami in 2000. What was it? 2004 or 2006 maybe. Like a lot of children on the beaches that hadn't done a bad thing in their whole life was died. I mean, there was no human being created that tsunami. So is
Yes, I understand
God
that.
good?
Now, what I say is what Muslims believe, that everything belongs to God, you know. So at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, if you say that, if you want to make a kind of an argument that because I would like there to be justice in the world, therefore it necessarily the world is just, but I don't see it that way. It doesn't seem to be that. I think a lot of injustice happen, and maybe we just have to live with that. Not like, of course, we should do our best to make the world a more just place and so on, but the universe maybe don't care.
My mum always used to say to me, life's not fair. It's like the truest thing she ever said to me.
I think it was Bill Gates. He said he had like 10 rules or something, and his first rule was, life ain't fair, get used to it.
You know, I have a question to atheist people. You know, now I'm going to question, you know, what do you, like many people make those videos about Illuminati, about secret societies and stuff like that. What is the atheist opinion about that? What's your opinion about those secret societies, Illuminati, and then this New World Order or something like that? What is your viewpoint? This is very interesting.
But hang on. Did you listen to what I said in the beginning when I defined what an atheist is?
No, I didn't listen because I didn't, yeah, no.
Okay, let me just give you this in a nutshell. An atheist is just somebody who does not believe in God. So an atheist does not have an opinion, does not have a stance, an atheist has absolutely nothing. An atheist makes no claims. An atheist does absolutely nothing except not believe that gods exist. Okay, so asking what is an atheist opinion is not a real question, because it's like asking a pianist. A pianist, you don't know anything about a pianist. So, you know, you need to ask the person who is not an atheist, because an atheist doesn't have an opinion. And a person who is also an atheist has a variety of opinions. It is not dependent on them being a non-believer.
Okay.
All right, so asking what is an atheist opinion on something is a nonsensical question.
And now you're asking what's the atheist opinion on whether a God exists.
Okay, exactly that. Yeah, thank you. Okay, but what you wanted to know is secret societies.
Yes.
Atheists don't have any opinion on secret societies because atheists only do not believe that God exists. Gods exist. Now, if you ask me about secret societies, it's laughable. It's like a kindergarten belief where you think this could be a conspiracy, that everybody is playing with somebody else, or I don't know what that is. No, secret societies have existed throughout the days, are existing, even today we have secret societies. But if you're talking about the Illuminati or things like that, that's absolute nonsense. Yes, you had the Templars, the Knights and things like that. You had groups, and absolutely, when I was a student, I was in a student group. Those used to be secret societies because they came about as resistance to Hitler. So yes, you do have them, but those things that you commonly read about, I'll leave that to.
Well, I don't not read about it. I just saw some videos about it a few years ago. So that was it. And your name is Jinn, something like that? Jinn&Tonic?
No, I'm known as Stop Spamming. This is the Jinn&Tonic show. So there are different people who are running the Jinn&Tonic show.
Why did you name that Jinn?
Well, because we talk about jinn. We talk about anything to do with Islam, and the only ideology which has jinns is Islam.
Okay, yes. Okay, now I understand it. Okay.
Okay,
if you want
but
a kind
Wally,
of
do you have any other questions?
Sorry?
Do you, because I've been picking, or we have been picking your brain, anything that you would like to know?
Yeah, I don't know, because I've watched this, I don't know what his name is at the moment. The Referred one or something like that, with the American flag. He talked to me, with this, what's his name?
Introvert Smalls.
Yes, Introvert Smalls. Yes, he made many videos, yes. But I don't have any question. I don't know.
Okay, you say you are still researching.
Yes.
You are researching Islam and you are researching the Quran. What topic in particular, or is there anything specific? Is there anything that interests you?
Uh, what? Yes, about Prophet Muhammad. What interests me is like, is Prophet Muhammad a prophet or is he just a charlatan? Something that was my interesting, because Prophet Muhammad he's the root of everything. Like, if he's a prophet, okay, then everything what he says has to be true. But if he's not a prophet, then it's all a lie. That was my question. Like, I have those Salafis few
So you
weeks
believe
ago.
Muhammad existed?
I believe that he existed, yes. But
Why?
many people, huh?
Why?
Because, yes, yeah, I'll tell you, because some people do not believe in him. But I think I read history books about Prophet Muhammad, the Sirah, and I believe that he existed. I believe it.
I think he did exist. There is a historical accounts
Do you
of
have a
it.
moment?
But whether he's the person you think he is based on the Sunnah, I think is a very different story, because the Sunnah and the Hadith were made something like were compiled 300 years after the Muhammad's death.
Yeah, but hang on. Then you are saying Muhammad existed because his death necessitates his prior existence.
No. I mean,
Historical records.
there was historical accounts at the time.
No, there are none. There is no evidence whatsoever that he ever existed.
Really?
Nothing.
Okay,
Do you
I think
believe
we
that
have
Prophet?
talked about that many times. But
Yeah.
even if he existed, I mean, I don't doubt that, for example, Joseph Smith existed. But still, I
Exactly.
think
This is
there
what
is
I
a
was
good
going to say.
reason.
No, but Walid, I asked Walid, so you believe that Muhammad existed? I
Yes,
was
I
just
believe that.
curious what this belief is based on.
Yeah, you you question me so much time. I watched a debate Ansham Shari versus Robert Spencer, like if he existed or not. I believe that he existed because if we just hear and everything, like and the Quran, the Quran, they found a manuscript of the Quran that was in the time of Prophet Muhammad. So that's why I also believe it.
Okay, but you
But
do
you
understand
can.
that. Have you heard of revisionists?
No, I don't know.
Okay, revisionists look at the historical evidence, and there it is obvious that Muhammad did not exist the way it is mentioned in the Hadith, because you cannot live the way that it is said in Mecca. Mecca did not exist at the time the way it is described.
Yatrib.
So if you look at the facts, then it means that Islam and the birth of the Quran must have been like 1,000 kilometers north and like 200-300 years later.
Okay. Maybe you can give me a link or something like that.
Okay, no, but I've discussed this on the Jinn&Tonic. I've had a whole an entire episode on Muhammad or not Muhammad, a month ago. Okay, but the point is, if you look at Muhammad,
Yes.
and you have only the Sirah and you have the Hadiths. Okay,
Yes.
now the Hadith, it says Muhammad washed twice, and then the next Hadith says Muhammad washed 3 times.
Yeah.
How do you decide what is what? Is it again that you are saying, I'm going to do it like in the Quran, I will decide what I like?
I will prefer the Quran because it is the primary text of the Muslims. So I will prefer, personally, I will prefer the Quran. That's my.
The name Muhammad is mentioned, but nothing about Muhammad is in the Quran.
Yes, but how you wash is in the Quran. It's you asked about washing,
No. My point was, if you read about Muhammad, and it says he washed 2 times.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I agree many things. Like also in history, well, I agree to see of Prophet Muhammad. Well, there was an instance that Abu Bakr freed a Muslim black slave. His name was Bilal ibn Rabah, and there were like more stories. Like there was a story that Abu Bakr has freed him and bought him by like 30 gold dinars or something like that. And other hadiths say that no, he just exchanged him with another black slave, to his boss. I don't know. There are many contradictions, in the hadith.
How do you feel about slavery being allowed within Islam?
Yes. I told that. I told that earlier.
How do you think about how does it how does it make sense that masturbating is haram, but owning a slave?
Yes, that was also my question.
and having sex with
like,
her
I will
is
tell you.
not.
I will tell you. I will tell you. Well, I will tell you because I had also that question because I had a problem with this relationship of Prophet Muhammad and Safiya, the Jewish slave or something like that, in the woman of Banu Qurayza. So I had a problem with slavery because at the end, the imams and something like that, they do not discuss those controversial things in the mosque. So at the end, you have to research it on your own about وَمَمْلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ or something like that. So it was shocking for me. I did not accept that. I still do not accept it. If I'm honest, and I don't think it is a thing to do of this time. Having slaves or owning somebody's woman, daughter.
But how can you reconcile that with the fact that Muhammad's supposed to be a perfect person for all time?
Yes. Well, I don't. First of all,
Because aren't you contradictory to the books? Because if you believe that he's not the perfect man for all time, then you're disagreeing on him being perfect.
I disagree. Yes, I don't believe that Prophet Muhammad was perfect. I don't believe that. It was not in the Quran that he's perfect. Well, it was in the Hadith that he's Masoom. And we also have the Shias, the Shias, the follower of Ahl Bayt. They believe that the Shia or the Ahl Bayt are Masoomin. Those 12 Imams are like they cannot make sin or like they are the best human beings. So I don't believe that that Prophet Muhammad and his Ahl Bayt, they were perfect. I don't believe that. They were just human beings.
Can I put my 2 cents?
Sorry?
Can I put my 2 cents?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. To me, you sound more like a deist than an agnostic or a Muslim, because you believe there is some supreme God, there is something that controls everything, but you don't believe there is a God that is made in human's image.
No, I don't believe that.
Yeah. So to me, you sound like a deist, and for now you play safe. You still, I think, you're still afraid of the God you believe in, because, as I understood, you were indoctrinated since your childhood.
Well, I was not indoctrinated because my parents, we were not religious. So they told me the basics, but I was not grown up as a Muslim. Well, when I was 17 years old, I started to research, and at the end, by reading those books, I was indoctrinated.
Okay, not indoctrinated in full sense, but like since your childhood, you knew that there's some kind of God exists.
Well,
and your parents
yes.
believe that, and you started believing that too.
Well, what kind of God do you actually believe? Like, describe it. Do you believe in a God that desires worship, desires gratitude? Because gratitude is, in fact, a human emotion. My argument to you is, why would God want gratitude in the form of worship?
It's a very good.
I think he won't answer that question because he's in search of those answers. He finds contradictions himself, and for now, this is the most that he can absorb right now. And
Yes,
I think he must be given. I'm sorry for interrupting. I think for now he must be given some more time to to learn more things about Islam and everything. And I think at some point of time in his life he will abandon his religion and he'll become free, because right now he already abandoned Hadith, and he already finds contradictions in Quran. And I think questioning him about why you believe in God and why you don't believe in these things and you believe in other things is useless for now, because this is the most that he can accept.
Thank you very much, Ruslan. That was the truth. Yes, because those questions are too much for me. It's like it's like an overdose. I try my best to answer that, but I have still to reflect. But thank you very much. What was the question?
What is a prophet?
A prophet, do you believe that a prophet is someone who got like a revelation from God or a inspiration from God. Because in Islam you have those two, like you have a prophet and a messenger. So a messenger is different from prophet. I don't understand that. I still don't understand that. So a prophet does not come with a book. He follows the book that was before him, like John the Baptist was a prophet according to Islamic tradition, and Jesus was a messenger. But if you go to Muhammad, he's a messenger and a prophet because he came with the New Testament. That's the Quran. That's why he's a messenger.
So what would make him a prophet in your eyes?
A prophet, in my eyes, is somebody who gets what I say is a kind of revelation from God that he's a prophet. Well, it's because I don't know that, because you don't know for sure. You can also have a dream and say, well, you are a prophet. You don't know, because there are so many prophets here. So it makes you like how do you say that? You have so much prophet. You have Jesus in Russia, something like that. You have the Japanese prophet. It confuses me. Like, what's a prophet? You have so much prophet now in 21st century. You also have some prophets, and many followers. By the way, I was really stunned by that.
So was Joseph Smith the prophet?
Yeah, no, of course not. And then you say, well, how do you know that Muhammad was a prophet? No, Joseph Smith was not a prophet. I've met some Mormons in where I live, and they told me about Mormonism, and I questioned them because if you are going to attack another religion, then you're open-minded. Like if you see Muslims attacking Christianity, they are open-minded because they don't believe in that. So at that time, I was really open-minded. I told them about the Book of Mormon, about their racism, like about people who have dark skin are like cursed or something like that by God. And also asked, yes, and also criticized him by no, I did not criticize him, but at the end, I don't know about Joseph Smith. He was a Freemason, by the way, and I watched those videos in YouTube about ex-Mormons. Like I watch now about ex-Muslims. I watched many videos this week about ex-Muslims. So I wanted to watch and to see how they express themselves, what their opinion is about Islam, because they are ex-Muslims. So I also was interested in Mormonism, so I just watched movies or films in like about ex-Mormons, what their experience was, and also about Dutch ex-Mormons, because I'm from the Netherlands. I'm not from United States.
I want to ask a question real quick.
Yes.
Like, do you get offended when ex-Muslims talk about Islam? Like,
no, I do not get offended because I watch so many. Well, maybe in the past, because maybe I was not that open-minded, but now I think it's very good to see how people express themselves. While do you know when I get offended? When this guy or this woman, they make money out of it. Like they make like thousands of bucks, and they become rich of being an ex-Muslim. I think that if you're an ex-Muslim, you have the right to express yourself, but don't have to make use of it.
Wait a minute. Who is getting rich of being an ex-Muslim?
Hirsi Ali. I don't know if she is ex-Muslim, but she makes money of it.
Who's this?
he's talking about Ayan Hirsi Ali.
Oh. And
No. She doesn't get rich for being an ex-Muslim. Look, she was a politician. She became a politician before she even started this thing. I mean, she could have lived a very comfortable life with a lot of money without like coming out as an ex-Muslim and criticizing Islam. She does it because she thinks it is the right thing to do. So to say that she does it for money, I think that is very
I just
rude.
came with an example. That doesn't mean that I want to say maybe I make some mistakes, but
Yeah, but if you give,
there are people who make money out of it. You cannot ignore that. There are people.
okay, so why did you mention Ayan Hirsi Ali?
Because I've researched her, I've watched some videos, but there's a guy who's called Edith Yüksel, and he's a Quran only Muslim. So he asked her to debate her, and she she asked 47,000 euros to come to the United States and etc. to come and debate with him.
Okay,
And that's a lot of money,
how do you explain all the Islamic preachers getting so much?
Yes.
How do you reconcile that and then?
Well, I think it's bad. I think it's bad, to make money out of religion. I also agree with you. Like those ayatollahs who make money, those scholars in. Yes, I'm against.
Wait. Look. Now you're saying two things. First, you said that Ayaan Hirsi Ali makes what she does because she wants to make money. Then you said no. Maybe she doesn't want to because of that, but some people does. But then you say again that she did go to a conference because she wanted to make money. I mean, for that, I can't really confirm that what you just said.
Sorry, I will be more clear. I say that Edip Yüksel invited Ayaan Hirsi Ali for a debate. Yes, she asks $47,000 for it. So to me, that is a kind of money making.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Hang on, but you heard this from whom? You heard this from?
Please do not hang on Ayaan Hirsi Ali.
No, but how do you have this information?
Look, you said that she was the first example you gave. So it's quite rude to say that she's only in it for the money, because she is clearly not. She could live a much more comfortable life.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense putting your life in danger and making money. I don't.
Yeah, and what's the point of making a lot of money when you can't go where you want to, and you always have to be followed with guards and so on.
Okay.
She's sacrificing.
Yeah, but Ali, where did you get this information?
Of Edip Yüksel.
Okay, we know Edip Yüksel. He's been on the Jinn&Tonic show,
Okay.
and he is not an honest person. All right, now. He says a lot of things if the day is long enough. So I'm taking everything he says with a pinch of salt. So the only source is Edip Yüksel.
No, yes, to that, to Ayaan Hirsi Ali, but.
All right,
no
then
problem.
my advice would be not to mention this to anyone because.
Okay, I will not mention it. It was my mistake. But about ex-Muslim, I don't think that it's bad, to express yourself. But do not abuse the Prophet or say that Quran is shit or something like that. Just explain it and give your argument, and that's it.
Why not? Why can't they say the Quran is shit and the Prophet is shit? I think they should have a right to do so.
Yes, you say that. You say that in your videos. I watched many videos of you. I enjoyed it, but you have to respect at least their religion.
Well, I don't think vulgarity is. I mean, that's not my taste. But the thing is, when you made this claim that there are ex-Muslims that make money out of being ex-Muslims, and I want to know, where are they? I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah, and the thing is, I want to clear up that Edip Yüksel, he has his own agenda too. Like, he promotes Quranism, he sells his books and everything like that. And just to clarify, I don't say the Quran is shit and the Prophet is shit. In my videos, I don't say it like that. But I do express my right to say, I don't believe in the Quran, I don't believe in the Prophet, and I think people should have the freedom to say whatever they want.
That's what I say. It's like if ex-Muslims do that, express yourself on YouTube, that is great, or express yourself on the outside. I think that is great, so that people get educated, so that people see his story. That is very great. I watched your videos, so there's nothing wrong with that. But that's my opinion about ex-Muslims. I don't think that you should kill him or behead him. Many Muslims will say that, but I don't.
Well, let's assume that she is making money. We can always examine what she is saying. What difference does it make if she is telling the truth, whether she's making money off of it or not making money off of it? Why not just discuss what she says and let's scrutinize her?
That's very good. That's very good. Yes.
I mean, in one way, that's a kind of ad hominem. I mean, Albert Einstein made money on his physics. Does that mean that his physics is wrong? No,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, what,
but
I don't
but
say
the
that.
thing,
See,
but it still annoys me because you just throw out, oh, there are I don't like when ex-Muslims make money on being ex-Muslims, as if, because I think that's a kind of a myth that many Muslims believe in, that like ex-Muslims can make a lot of money on it, but they don't. Where are they? I mean, maybe what was Malala, but she's not even an ex-Muslim. The one that got the Nobel Peace Prize, or did she get it? By the way, I think that. Anyway,
Yeah, she did.
okay, but she's not even an ex-Muslim. She calls herself a Muslim.
Yeah.
So I wonder, where are all these ex-Muslims that makes a lot of money on being ex-Muslims?
No, I think that was a sentence that came out wrong. I think what introverted or introverted asked is actually a difficult question. I think Walid answered as best as he could and then went a little bit overboard. This is what I take from this. And I think we should is there any desperate last question that we need to ask Walid?
I don't know. You bombard me with those questions, but I said I wanted to say to all those ex-Muslims, I do not hate you or something like that. So do not be offended by what I said. Maybe I was wrong. I'm a human being, so I make mistakes.
No, buddy, that's cool. I understand that you can make mistakes, and that here, because you are being scrutinized by, I don't know, 6 people or something. Because I want to make one statement here, and I want to make this very, very, very clear. You are the first Muslim that has come here in a very long time, who has had the guts, who has had the backbone and the spine to go and stand up for their belief and didn't mind being questioned and scrutinized and all that. And this, and I'm saying this in all honesty, I admire. Whether or not you said anything wrong or right, it doesn't matter. I'm saying at the moment, you have a lot of respect from my side that you came here to a show where you know that there's going to be a bunch of non-believers and go and talk about Islam. So this is something, regardless of anything else, that I want to document here.
Yes,
yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah, I
true.
really
Very
respect
good.
you for that.
Very.
Thank you for that, Walid.
thankful.
Very, very brave.
Yeah, no thanks. But I don't care. We're all humans, so I don't care if somebody's ex-Muslim or something like that. So it's not something hard for me to talk with ex-Muslims or with all kind of people. So it's not something big or like what. Well, it was hard for me to question those answers.
Okay, but Walid, maybe we can do something here. You say that you are still researching. You're still looking at the role of Muhammad. You're still looking at his role in being a prophet or not. Why can't you come back occasionally and report about your findings, what you are researching? Because I think everybody would be interested in learning from you the way that you see things, because you are a Muslim, because you are open-minded, because you are looking at these things. Why don't you come back and tell us about it?
Yeah, maybe I will come back. I'll tell.
And then we're going to leave you alone for today, because I don't want to give you the feeling that you are being grilled here,
Yes.
like at a.
I don't think we've given him enough time. Do you want to just give him like the last 10 minutes to rebuke or just?
Because I was just going to say, let's carry on with the normal schedule, and then maybe come back at the end of the show, because we still have 45 minutes.
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
All right, then let me just continue, because what I wanted to still mention is the video of the week. Now, I see people in the chat already discussing this, because the video that I found, that I have decided is my personal video of the week, is the night that changed Germany's attitude to refugees. And it's a longish video, but I think it's the most important video Germany has ever had. I mean, today, I mean, this year, where politicians, feminists, Islam experts, and they all voice their opinions on what has happened and how Germans, through their collective guilt complex, have looked the other way and have allowed Islamism, all right, not Islam, but Islamism, Islamists and jihadists to do as they please. And the video, and this is quite weird, also highlights the unlikely popularity of the political right wing, what they call the AfD, the alternative for Deutschland, for Germany. And what these people do is actually quite atrocious. They want the standard family like it was defined 80 years ago. They want to bring back the values of Germany of 80 years ago. They want to bring back nuclear energy. They want to abandon and totally
nuclear energy is
You're
awesome.
wrong about nuclear power.
Sorry?
Nuclear power is awesome.
You're wrong about nuclear.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. For the next 50 million years, it's awesome. Anyway, so they have a lot of things which are completely backward, which are outlandish, but people don't understand it. They only hear abandon Islamists, and they say, yay! And that's it. They don't realize that this is a political party that has a different agenda also. And this video highlights this, and this video shows how German politicians, by trying to be politically correct, are now seeing the answers. Where in actual fact today, it's actually quite dangerous for a girl to go around. And a girl was raped, and then they had a town meeting, and the mayor was there, and they asked the mayor, listen, Mr. Mayor, what the fuck do you suggest we do about this? And he says, tell your girls not to walk around dressed like this. And this is exactly the attitude that people are seeing here, that the politicians are blaming the people and not those who raped them. And this is why I call this the video of the week, because it highlights it. I think it's brilliant. As usual, I'm going to put it into the description box after the show. Now, the misconception of the week, because we talked about this last time, and I decided to promote it to misconception of the week because I call it the end times. Why would I call the end times the misconception of the week? Because nobody knows what it is. A lot of people say, well, when you die, it's the beginning of your new life, and blah, blah, blah. And other people say no. So I want to go through this a little bit later in more detail, but this is the misconception that I found, and I thought I'm going to take it as a topic, and it's a pity that ex-Muslim is not here, because he was going to do some reading, and I thought that he can give us some facts. So the other thing I want to talk about is then anti-Semitism, what it is and so on, then wild and wonderful Turkey, Muslim experience and Muslims, ex-Muslims, and sex. So anti-Semitism. What is anti-Semitism? What is anti-Semitic? Because we have this discussion in the UK at the moment where one guy who said that Hitler did X, and somebody said this is anti-Semitic. And then they throw around words like Zionism, Jewish, racism, and racist, and things about that. And I don't understand that. So my question is, can we talk about Jews and Hitler in a historic context, or is this all off limits?
Yeah, I think it was a bit insane the way they're talking about. I mean, I think you can talk about stuff, and you can even if it is false, then you still have the right to say this stuff.
Okay,
and even though I pro-Israel in the way that I think it should exist, I still let people talk about it. And the way they talk about it is they obviously weren't talking about, Jews. They were talking about Zionism in a sense. So I don't think.
So what is this Corbyn guy doing then?
What do you mean?
Well, he's releasing somebody who made a comment about Hitler in a historic context. Now, whether he's right or wrong is exactly what you are saying. It's irrelevant.
It's because Labour are just insanely. They're supposed to be the anti-racist, politically correct party, so of course they're going to get rid of him. Which annoys me because I agree on some economic issues of Labour. But
okay,
I think.
Does anybody want to give a definition of Zionism?
Well, it depends, because Zionism by Jews is just having a Jewish state, but I think what people think Zionism is the greater Jewish state in the way that it owns Palestine and both Palestine and, well, what's thought as Palestine and.
But that's a misconception, isn't it?
I think a good analogy to Zionism or Zionists would be caliphate. I mean, it's not correct 100% or 1%, but it's an analogy, and I think most people think like that.
Oh, I would think it's the opposite, because the caliphate is based on the Quran, whereas a Zionist is not based on the Torah.
Well, Zionism.
No, not in that sense. I mean that one race or one particular group rules over everybody. In that sense.
Zionism means if you want a Jewish state. So
Exactly.
if you want Israel to, I'm not a Zionist because I think it should be secular.
Well, I'm a Zionist because I think Israel should exist. Finished.
Yeah, I think Israel should exist, but I don't think it should be a Jewish state.
Okay, that's the second step then. But the Zionist has no opinion on the religion.
Opinion on religion?
Ruslan, there's something. I can't. Is it me, or does anybody else have a problem understanding what Ruslan is saying?
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, I think Zionism means state for the Jews, not a Jewish state. I'm unsure on the definition actually.
Okay.
Yeah, even I was not able to hear Aslan.
Okay, so it's not only me, because it sounds like what Big Bang Theory show is making Professor Hawking look like.
Do you want me to re-say what I said?
No, Ruslan, because nobody could understand what Ruslan said because it's like cutting off in the middle. He sounds like a Dalek.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know which part you didn't hear. So.
Yeah, now it's perfect again. Strange. Okay, so in other words, we can talk about Jews and Hitler in a historic context, and it's not off limits. It's just that this is blown out of all proportion by politicians at the moment. Is that a fair assessment?
No,
Yes.
I think one of the Labour MPs said that the Jews should move to somewhere in North America or something like that rather than staying in Israel. I think that was a bit offensive. I feel they should have taken her to task.
Okay, this I don't know about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Nash said that.
Yeah, I think that's a bit out of bounds. Yeah.
Okay, wild and wonderful Turkey. Now, I think Turkey, this guy Erdogan, he's going apeshit. Okay, so some academics in Turkey were arrested for spreading terrorist propaganda. Now, I think that somebody who is spreading terrorist propaganda, they should be in jail. But was this a terrorist act? What did they do? Well, they signed a petition that called for an end to violence in the country, in the Kurdish region. And for me, signing a petition is not an act of terrorism or spreading terrorist propaganda. Now, the comment by the Turkish president, Erdogan, who wants to join the EU, all right, to hold a pen is to be at war. And because he says that their signature represents an act of denigrating Turkishness. I mean, this is crazy. This Erdogan guy, I mean, he's such an idiot. He's such an asshole. The thing is, he's taking a German comedian to court because he dared say something negative about him on German television. And he doesn't care that Germany has free speech, and he doesn't care that Germany has freedom of the press, freedom of expression, and things like that. He says in Turkey it's against the law. So this guy, he insulted me, and therefore he needs to go to jail.
Yeah,
and the funny thing is, the Chancellor of Germany went and apologized to this asshole. This is the funniest thing of all.
Even when they visited the United States, the bodyguards of Erdogan were, ill-treating the press, and I don't know why the US didn't take any action against these guys.
Yeah, but he's such a joke, this guy, and people take him seriously. This is the funny thing.
It's the leader of a moderate Muslim nation.
A moderate, yeah. But I think this is the problem with Islam and the definitions. I mean, Islam brings up definitions left, right, and center, which are totally contrary to what we do. Like they say, we only retaliate and we only defend ourselves against those who wage war. And this is what Erdogan says. But, war is simply writing down some questions. So, if you decide that war is writing down questions and he is retaliating, well, then there you go. Unbelievable. The next
I
thing,
saw something good. I saw something inspiring. I don't know if you guys seen the Soda Stream plant,
no.
where Israeli workers were working with Palestinians, and they were producing soda water. I thought that was refreshing to see because like they were doing it to be united and say, doesn't matter what religion you're from or whatever, we should all work together. I thought that was
That's
interesting.
brilliant. Oh, that's so nice. This reminds me of the story I had last week where they showed a guy who was Muslim with a guy who was Jewish, and they were both walking through New York. That was brilliant. And everybody said, "Come on, let me take a photo with you," and blah blah blah. You're a Muslim, you're a Jew. I'm a Christian. I'm a Jew. I'm whatever. And they all agreed that this is the way that it should be. That
Yeah.
people just live together, work together, party together. I mean, come on. When I was in Abu Dhabi or in Doha even, people, they were people. They came out and we sat around and we laughed and joked and this was a party. And these are normal people and that is the way it should be. I didn't care if he was Jewish or Muslim or whatever. And that is the brilliant part, that you can get this on this planet today. And it's just these stupid Islamists who are trying to stop this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's good. And are we what is it? Are we famous now? Did that one with the Jewish wife, Jewish wife and the Muslim boyfriend or whatever, and the couples. So like one couple, they had a Muslim guy and a Jewish one. The other one, they had a Jewish guy and a
So
Muslim.
love is stronger than religion. Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So why do we get this Muslim experience? Why do we get all these lies and deception by apologists? And why are so many Muslims who copy them? I don't understand. Why is it that somebody like Hamza Tzortzis, who is like, he's a liar, and everybody has shown and demonstrated and proven that he's a liar. He's a pathological liar. I mean, whatever he says, it's a lie. And people still copy him. Why? I mean, I don't get it.
Because many people
Because
think
Islam is a lie.
Hi.
no, many people don't. They just want to hear something good about the religion, and they just follow. They don't go and they don't have the interest of researching what he says and whether it is actually true. Oh, this is
Like when it, sorry.
about the semen found between the ribs and the backbone. They say, oh wow, this was there in the Quran. Yeah, but they don't know that something like that was already there in a different culture at the same time. So when they
But like
hear
going back
things,
to criticism.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say going back to the criticism, they don't like it when people who are not Muslim criticize their speakers at all. They don't even like when Muslims criticize the speaker. So I don't think Muslims have that capability of taking criticism at all. Like maybe like with a Christian pastor or something, I think Christians are more open to look at it. But with Muslims, if you criticize a guy like Hamza Tzortzis, they're just gonna say, "Oh, those are the Islamophobes. Those are the anti-Muslim people.
Haters.
We can't listen to them." Yeah, that's what I hate. It annoys me.
This is why I'm asking them, why is it that so many Muslims go and copy this? So you are saying that they are irritated with being criticized in the first place, and that's why they go and talk shit.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah,
And
they
Frank,
get irritated.
Oh, Frank is gone. Because I think
What was
he
that?
wanted to make a second point.
Oh yeah, he'll probably come back in. He's been joining and leaving. I think he has internet connection
Oh, there you go.
problems.
Frank, did you want to make a second point?
Oh no, I just got cut out. I think there were too many people on the Hangout. No, I just wanted to say that they don't have that curiosity they just like it when somebody is saying good about their religion, and when somebody criticizes, they don't have the guts to go and research it and say, yes, oh, this was a problem. There is an insecurity, like I told in the last session, that see, without the apostasy laws, you would not have had 1.6 billion people following this religion. That is a very important point that needs to be stressed. And whenever they say in the debates that oh, the Quran is so bad, what about the Old Testament? I don't know why they don't bring the Hadiths into these debates. most of the things that Muslims do as action are in the Hadith. You don't find the 5-time prayers. You don't find the Shahada in the Quran. So I don't know why people don't bring the Hadiths into. So when that level of discussion reaches, when it becomes mainstream, then probably we'll see a lot of people questioning the religion and then questioning people like Hamza Torres.
No,
And
They don't really put much thought into it. Like I saw this popular Muslim YouTuber girl who was wearing hijab, and like this is popular vegan on YouTube named Freely the Banana Girl, and she basically is like she's like
you're kidding.
biggest the biggest YouTube vegan star there is, and she shared a video of this Muslim girl becoming vegan, and I tweeted to this Muslim girl saying, well, technically you can't be vegan and Muslim because on Eid, on the celebrated holiday of Eid, they have to slaughter an animal. It's actually, it's highly recommended that they slaughter a cow or something like that. And in the Hadith, I was just pointing out to her that, Prophet Muhammad said to slaughter the black dog before it is Satan, and just showing all these texts that, I mean, Islam doesn't really, it does, you could be a vegan and be a Muslim, right? But according to Prophet Muhammad's example, it was clear that he wasn't a vegan or he promoted that lifestyle. I brought that up to her and she said, well, it's not a pillar of Islam. So it's whatever they want to make it to be nowadays.
No, but I think you have to defend her there. You can be a vegan as long as you don't have the belief that it's better than. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would say
of course.
that it's mubah to be a vegan. You can be it for health reasons.
It's one of those.
Just
you can be and that was my point. But I just wanted to show her that Muhammad wasn't certainly vegan, and she's allowed to do that. I just wanted to see her thoughts, on Muhammad, being a vegan. Like, I mean, she has a point and she could do whatever she wants, but that just show an example, like, people will choose and pick whatever they want to follow.
Al-Nasser?
That's true, but one correction, that Muhammad never said to kill the black dog. All he said was, your prayers are annulled if you're crossed, if a black dog, woman, or a donkey crosses you while you're not praying in front of a visor. Just a correction, that's all.
No, I saw a hadith that instructs to kill the black dog. I seen it. I mean, I saw that hadith you're talking about too.
I like to see the reference where he said to kill the black dog.
Yes.
Yeah, I can show it.
I'm a Muslim myself.
I think stop
I have friends, and they say to me, like, black dogs with red eyes are from the devil, or something like that. So
I think it's actually all black dogs are devils.
So, and yes, there was a hadith that Prophet Muhammad instructed that to kill every dog, I think, in Medina. I think.
Yeah. He ordered the dogs killed, but then people came to him and they said, hey, we keep dogs for guarding and hunting. That's when he changed his mind and he said you could only keep a dog as a guard dog or a hunting dog, and wash your utensils if the dog licks them 8 times with the water or 7 times with the water and 8th time in the dirt. And also about the gecko. I mean, there are a couple of hadiths about the gecko where Muhammad said gecko is evil because she blew the fire of Abraham when he was thrown into fire, and to kill him. There's another hadith by Aisha. She says, I heard the Prophet say that the gecko is evil, but she didn't hear him say to kill it.
I'd just like to ask a question. Do you believe in the devil? To the Muslim guy, do you believe he exists?
Are you talking to Walid at the moment?
Yeah.
Well, yes, I think I believe in the devil, because it is very strange, You have those like this exorcism called Ruqya. When you recite upon somebody the Quran, he flips, and he starts talking like as if he's a jinn or something.
You know that I'm a former Muslim exorcist, so I've also seen that. But if I can connect that to because you said before, most of these things, there are scientific explanations for this. Before you were talking about like people who believe in conspiracy theories, there are very well documented like research, psychological research on this, and they tend to be people who have either they are schizophrenic or have a schizotypal personality disorder. So
Okay,
it's a very specific part of their brain that isn't functioning as well as it should be, and they can't really they don't have quite the ability to separate reality from
then my question is,
fantasy.
why in the Middle East and Arabic countries they practice witchcraft, and sometimes it has effect on that person? So I don't know, maybe
Yeah, but I've seen that too. But the thing is, they never do anything that is like supernatural. They move in very strange ways, and they move very similar to sometimes. I don't know if you never see that anymore, but if you've seen someone with the real epilepsy, for example, they move in that kind of strange ways. And I don't want to make a diagnosis on, but they don't do anything like supernatural.
Yes.
They don't fly in the air or
No,
do
no,
anything
I
like that.
understand, but why do they then, if it's not true, if it doesn't have effect, why do those people practice witchcraft? I know many people also in my family who practice
Because
witchcraft.
people believe in that, but there's not only witchcraft. Look, exorcism. I've been reading Qur'an on people, and I remember especially one girl. She was moving in a very strange way and doing things that looked like she had a jinn. But the thing is, you have not orgasm. Look, we're talking about vulgarities. We're trying to be serious here, okay? So, but there are Christians that are reading text from the Bible or doing other things that you have the exact same result. And the Bible, today's Bible, it's not God's words. So why does that work? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and another question would be, why does this or the jinn only infect Muslims? Because when it happens to atheists, they usually link it to mental disorders like seizures and other stuff like that. That'll be another question as well.
Then they say they have a jinn, but they don't know it. But the thing is here, why does the Christian stuff like hitting them with a cross, why does that give the same result?
Exactly.
Yes, that was also my question. It's a bit awkward. I don't know.
Yeah, I used to participate. Yeah, I used to participate in those exorcisms too, and I see some crazy stuff. So I know what Walid is talking about. Like you just see crazy convulsions, they're shaking, and you see on the Saudi Arabia TV that they have all these amulets and weird things going on. But it's all going back to superstition, because in Africa they practice the same stuff too, but not in the name of Islam. So it's all about people's beliefs. They could believe in a lot of superstition.
Look at voodoo.
Maybe it's our unconscious, like a brain or something like that, that is
allowing
those things to happen.
Of course, yes. Okay, Jeremy actually made a comment here from. Did you guys know Mehdi Hassan, the columnist in the UK? He made a comment on why Muslims don't diss other Muslims or don't criticize them. He says, to be honest, I've always been reluctant to write a column such as this to accuse my fellow Muslims of being soft on the scourge of anti-Semitism isn't easy. I feel as if I am dobbing in the community, telling tales to the non-Muslim teacher. So Muslims don't dob in other words, criticize other Muslims, even if they're real assholes. So this was the topic now on anti-Semitism and why Muslims don't criticize others. And this is what a prominent Muslim says about the topic, and I think this is very, very true. I think this is the way that it works. Okay, let me quickly go to the almost last topic. This is about Muslims, ex-Muslims, and sex, because this is a question now to ex-Muslims. Do Muslims who realize there's nobody checking up on them go crazy and have sex left, right, and center to make up for the lost years. Because I see there's a lot of pent-up frustration in youngsters in the countries. I mean, if I go to Abu Dhabi, I mean, they would drool if they just saw a girl with like shoulders free or something like this. This is why sometimes they can't help themselves and go crazy and rape women. Now, what happens to Muslims who leave Islam? Do they also go crazy on sex, or is this something that they realize, oh no, we need to chill on this. This is normal. How does that work?
I can say that I was like, after being starved for a while, you kind of, I don't know what you're saying, but like it's like your nervous system has adapted to another level. So, it becomes very sensitive in some way.
Yeah, but it balances out after a while. Or
after a while it balances out. But it's like, yeah.
Any other opinions on this?
I think it all depends on the person. Me personally, I like to keep that moral teaching of no, just don't go have sex with everybody. And some people are different. Some people, when they become ex-Muslim, they're just like, man, what have I been waiting on? I need to go have sex and do it. It all depends on the person, I think.
Yeah, but I think there is a universal thing that like the brain has a kind of like adaptation. So it adapts to the level of sex available.
I think it's ex-Muslim blasphemy that you're not smoking weed and eating bacon sandwiches and having sex. It's blasphemy.
And I feel it's not just I can't blame the religion as on a whole. It's also the culture. Like if you're brought up in a culture where the women are always covered, and then you move to a country where you see women, all different parts exposed, especially when you see nice breasts or something like that. Some people are able to control it, and some people just can't. I mean, some people just go crazy. That's how men are designed. Most of us are able to control that, but we can't. We don't deny that. Yes, if a girl looks good and she has some parts that are well developed, our eyes go towards that. So it's all a matter of, I think, how they've cultured and conditioned themselves.
I think the most important thing.
I disagree. Man is not designed like that. Like a man is not designed to be attracted to a woman's breasts, because I've read and seen many cultures, for example in Africa, that like people go around naked, and nobody's attracted to.
Yeah,
to
but that's how they're born, and that's how they're conditioned. They're seeing their mothers, their aunts and uncles all naked, so it's not a big deal to them. I'm telling you about cultures where the woman is completely covered, and then they move to a culture where the woman is partially covered. So you can't just say that. I'm still telling you, it's all based on how you're conditioned. When you're conditioned to see a woman daily, you just get used to it. It doesn't stimulate you, or nothing exciting happens. I'm talking about cultures where you're sexually repressed. You move to a more liberal culture. Some people are able to control themselves, and some people can't. And those guys who can't be controlled, they should be behind bars, or they should be executed. That's it.
Let me explain this.
Be executed.
You went crazy on that.
But look, there's a, the brain. There's a well-known phenomenon in like neurology and psychology. It's called adaptation, like hedonistic adaptation, and it's also some philosophers use the hedonic set point. So like everything you do, like sexual images and so on triggers like the brain's dopamine system. So the thing is, what happens with people that don't see that are starved like from all kind of sexual images and all things like that, is that their brains adapt to that kind of level. But when you live in like Western societies where you see images all the time, your brain gets used to that kind of hedonistic or that dopamine
Oh,
level
well,
all the
if you
time. And also, this it's the same thing if you like eat sugar. Sugar also like activates the dopamine system very effectively. So one thing you can try if you want to get more like sensitive for sweet things is to eat all kind of sugars for like 1 month and see what happens the next time you eat sugar.
well, you sort of say that like they don't do it. I mean, if you look at Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, they're all per capita the most porn addicted nations, among the most porn addicted nations in the world. So it's obviously they're obviously seeing the content, whatever, even though that they know it's forbidden.
Yeah, but then they get their stimulation.
True, I
But
forgot about that.
but I don't know if I mean if that's true in one way it doesn't surprise me. I think do you know who Alan Watts is?
No.
He's like an kind of hippie guy. Like you will find him immediately on YouTube, like hippie sheikh or something.
He's like an American philosopher.
Yeah, American. He's specialized in Eastern philosophy. But he said it best. He said, "We should thank religion for making sex so interesting."
This is quite funny. Now I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh no, I remember. I came from a very prudish, very strict British school, or British style school, I should say. And then I went to one of the most liberal boarding schools which existed. They chucked me out after 1 year. I could not handle the liberalism of this school where I could make the decisions. I went absolutely apeshit because I was so used to control and being suppressed and being governed and being monitored all the time that I couldn't handle the liberty. So I freaked. So it's exactly what Abu said. After a while, it sort of balances out. But in the beginning, it was such a kick that I was able and allowed to do whatever I wanted. It was horrible, and I was actually quite shocked at the things that I was able to do. I mean, I actually went into a shop and I stole a lighter. So just this because it was part of the group thing to do things like that, and luckily I was found. So it was quite strange what I did at that time. Intro, what is this? The tweet about Nero has been discovered, because GPZ is just writing this. Did you make some tweet about Nero?
Oh, Milo Yiannopoulos. I said I probably would go gay for him or something. I was just joking. No.
Oh shit! I find him so revolting.
He's a funny guy. Yeah, he's gay and Christian. I don't know how he struggles with that. Now that we're on that topic. But yeah, I think like religion
sucking dick for Jesus.
It makes that whole sex thing interesting, just like that Alan Watts quote, because you're always feeling guilty. So after you kind of leave religion, you just don't have that guilt factor anymore. It's very important to not have that guilt factor.
Yeah, I think that's what I think humans have like a I can't remember, desire for that. The forbidden. Like I'm not trying to go into detail, but I think as time's gone on, my internet history's got worse and worse over time. Like if you had some kind of graph, yeah, I think it's not don't get me wrong, it's not that bad, but I'm just saying it's got worse.
I find exactly the opposite, because it's in the beginning it's like fascinating because of something new. And then it just gets boring.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why you have to go to more weird stuff, is what I'm saying.
No, okay, then there's something built in. There's built-in level here. Okay, I did not want to get this like so sleazy. I was just interested in whether there is yet. I was just interested whether there is this. Make up sort of this feeling that you need to make up for lost time, whether this is the case, or whether a Muslim who has 4 wives leaves Islam, what is he going to do with his 4 wives? Does he divorce all of them, or just 3 of them, or how does that work? I mean, this is like a whole different world for me.
It's very difficult. I've heard some cases where, it's just like some Muslim men try to give them a chance. Hey, will you accept me? But having more than one wife, of course, is more complicated. I think they would have to divorce all four of them, or if they had that much. But I think it's up to the Muslim men. I know a lot of cases, most cases that I know, they try to make it work. If it's like a Muslim man, from what I found, they become ex-Muslim. They try to tell their wives, "Hey, this is what I believe. I'm not Muslim anymore. Will you accept me?" And a lot of the times, the women don't accept them because they want to remain Muslim, and sometimes they just live with it and do accept them. So it's pretty difficult.
Well, it really depends where it happens. I mean, if it happens in the Middle East, it's not a problem. They'll become widows because he be killed. In the West, they gotta kind of work their around.
Oh, Lhasa, you're terrible. Yes, I hate it when you are so logical and rational. Yes. Oh my God. But
Well, the marriage is getting annulled. I read a Salafi book about apostate. Like, if you have doubt in God and His messenger, you are apostate. You don't have to be like an atheist or something like that. You just have to doubt or something like that, and then you are murtad.
Oh, is that
Yes.
sufficient?
Yaqeen is shartul iman. You have to. Yaqeen is how do you say shart? It's a necessity for iman. So if you don't have yaqeen means like absolute certainty or whatever you call it. So if you don't have yaqeen, you don't have iman. So if you have doubts, that means that you're kafir.
That's good.
Thought you were gonna say something? No.
Good things you have doubts.
Yeah, doubt's good. In everything.
I was just talking about in general because what I say that the most translated books in Dutch come from Salafis, so they are very open to that. Like, if you ask a Sufi imam something like that, he will not be like that directly, but a Salafi will be answering all your questions directly. So they are very direct in that.
How do you feel about Gert Wilders?
No, the problem is that I think we feel that we are attacked by him. Well, he may be saying the truth, but he also says some stupid things. Like, let's say that we have many Moroccans here, Moroccan people. So he hates Moroccan people. So he says, well, we want less Moroccan people, and many people compare him to Hitler.
Okay, I think that's a bit harsh.
I don't care about him, but I think he's now the number one in the Netherlands. I think if I don't know, about 2 years or something like that will be elections, I think he will win the elections.
Yeah, but this is the populist right wing. This is what you find everywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's Britain First or AFD or whether it's Marine Le Pen. There are so many people who are capitalizing, who are just being opportunistic and doing this what is called fear mongering, telling people you need to be afraid of Islam, you need to be afraid of Islamism, and you need to be afraid of the Islamization of the country. And this is the only argument they have. And of course, people are afraid of this because they don't know it. I do the talks now where I tell people, listen, this is what Islam is, this is what it's based on, and this is how you can counter it. And that's very easy because most Muslims are better than their God, and that's it. So if somebody is a Muslim, I don't care as long as it doesn't affect me, as long as his actions don't affect me. If somebody only has a belief and this does not go into the way that he lives, the way that he does things, and this does not affect me, then I don't care.
Well,
yes, Wilders is a demagogue, he just uses that fear. And the Dutch people are very sensitive, they're very sensitive.
Yeah, I think the reason why the right wing's on the rise is because political correctness, really. because like you're not allowed to talk about it. That's why it's so weird in like Britain, because you're allowed to talk about Polish people. You can literally like say anything and you won't be called a racist. And it's just like there's certain people that are like taboo. You know what I mean? Like you can't say anything. You can't. Yeah, you can't mention like the word Jew or Muslim. Otherwise, you'll just be like they'll just put you in jail for like hate speech straight away,
That's
and then
why
brand you as racist. So,
okay. All right. Anything else? Any other comments, questions, remarks, anything?
but I kind of like he's got a point though. Gert Wilders. I think it's important because what's happened there is they've made like a series of movies, like what was that movie called?
Fitna.
Fitna, and Gert Wilders' free speech is under attack, and it's like a foundation of the society. So I think he kind of highlights that a bit. But I don't know, but it's certainly a big issue, and I think that if politicians were more open about talking to it mainstream, then this right wing parties wouldn't be so popular if they just addressed the issues. I think that's all.
One thing that's making me angry about this is like the Muslims are comparing ISIS to the right-wing Christians or the right-wing party, and I hate this analogy.
The KKK, yeah.
It's a false equivalency. It just doesn't make sense.
I think I just wanted to make a request to the group. Like I think we should do one show on this Islamic feminism. I would like to know what special rights were given to women by Muhammad, because that's the argument that feminists keep throwing back, that we were given more rights than what.
Okay, that's a very good idea. But now today was supposed to be about end times, the Yawm al-Qiyamah. And because of Walid, we gave Walid preference, and we did not talk about the end times. Should we skip the end times?
Well, just give it a quick point, I guess.
So
Just say.
we'll make it to next. Well, it's 10. It's after 2 hours now. So what we're going to do then next time, I will look up 2 topics. One topic will be the end times, where I'm going to make it very, very quick. Maybe ex-Muslim is going to be here next time to talk about it.
Can we just extend it? Maybe 20 minutes. Yeah.
No, I'm going to make it 40
half
minutes.
and half, if you want.
40 minutes end times and 40 minutes on the feminism. Frank, do you want to talk about it, or do you want somebody else to research it?
Yeah, I would like somebody else, because I am not. I could not find any material on my own. So if somebody else could, who's got better knowledge.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Then we can do this. Then I will do this next week on feminism. And we'll see what happens with end times. And James is complaining that okay, James, you have the floor.
I can find like 15, 20 hadith that are anti-feminist, like, if you want.
Oh, then we split this. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. If you could do that, that would be brilliant. Then what I will do, I will just because to do a quick 30-minute thing on feminism is no big deal. Because I went and looked at the historic Arabia between the 3rd and the 7th century, and I can bring a lot there from the view of feminism. Okay, so we're going to have feminism end times. Let me just make a note of this, because last time I forgot to write this down, and then I forgot about this. So we're going to have 2 topics next time, feminism and end times, and James is going to find some stuff in the Hadith. Okay, great stuff. So talking about Hadith, what Hadith do we have today? Now, I had a shit week, all right? Any time is the end time. I had a terrible week that I even forgot to tell. Ali was patiently waiting, and I forgot to tell him which Hadith to use. And because he's a good Muslim, he didn't take any decision on his own and waited for me, and I forgot to tell him which hadith. So I'm going to do it verbally today, because we had this thing where we were talking about water, how Muhammad considered to be water. And here's one from Abu Dawud again, from book number 1, and it's now hadith number 63. Narrated Abdullah ibn Umar, the Prophet was asked about water and what is frequented by animals and wild beasts. And he replied, when there is enough water to fill 2 pitchers, it bears no impurity. So any kind of water, as long as it fills 2 pitchers, so it's just a puddle, is good enough, even if animals have been swimming in it, animals have been shitting in it, pissing in it, doesn't matter. As long as it fills 2 pitchers, it bears no impurity. Now, only a few hadiths later, it says, the people asked the Messenger of Allah, can we perform ablution out of the well of Bud'a, which is a well into which menstrual clothes, dead dogs, and stinking things were thrown? He replied, water is pure and is not defiled by anything. And then the very next one, it says, narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, I heard that the people asked the Prophet of Allah, water is brought for you from the well of Buddha. It is a well in which dead dogs, menstrual clothes, and excrement of people are thrown. The Messenger of Allah replied, verily, water is pure and not defiled by anything.
As far as I know, that hadith is da'if. No?
Is it what?
Like it's a weak hadith.
No, this is from this is Sahih from Abu Dawud.
Is it really Sahih?
This is how it's classified. This is from Sunnah.com.
Last time I checked on Sunnah.com, it was, I guess, it was da'if, like weak.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I only saw this that it's Sahih. I can check on the. Do I still have this open? I have. No, this is a different one. No, but I could definitely check it. Then I'll do that for next time, because this is the one that I found, which I found quite astonishing, that somebody can use water no matter what, that it's pure. But the thing is, in Tehran, we used to have things at the side of the roads. They don't exist anymore, but we used to have them, and they were called jubes. And the jubes by the side of the road had running water, and people put anything in there. And people at the bottom, because Tehran is built on a slope, and then if people at the top pee in this, and at the bottom you wash your clothes in this, people say, oh no, if it's running 100 meters, then it's clean again. So this is the way that it was used.
Can you please recite the last hadith one more time so I can look for it right now?
Okay, it's the book number 163, 66, and 67.
No, I mean the text. Not the number of the hadith, but the hadith itself.
All 3 of them.
You
the last one.
You
So
can
I
go
can-
back,
You can just rewind it and
rewind the video.
Oh, okay. I'll try it now. Let me try something here.
So it's book 163, 66, and 67.
Yeah, but I found some weird things to be pure in Islam, like even the hadith. Even when I was Muslim, I saw the hadith where semen is pure. You know, Aisha used to rub the semen with her hands, and the semen was classified as pure. And the same thing with water. I saw a fatwa that beach water, you can make wudu with it, purification with it. There's just certain weird things in Islam that are classified as pure.
Well, actually, semen is pure. Causes no harm.
Well, it's full. It's nutritious. Yes.
Yeah, so Muhammad, he's got that right.
Yeah, especially that sperm.
Yeah, Dawa man knows this.
But what if it's mixed with pee? You know, sometimes it's mixed with pee.
The thing that's funny is that isn't everything halal unless it's mentioned in the Quran.
No, unless it's declared haram.
Yeah. So there's no part of the Hadith or Quran that say you can't drink your dad's semen. So by his own logic, He's allowed to do it himself.
Yeah, but he's too stupid to realize that. I mean, that is really, I mean, okay, but you know, the average IQ is 100. You need some people at 80 to make up for it. Well, there you go. So he's the one balancing it out. James, if you want to do something on end times, by all means. I mean, I love it if other people talk because I used to be the quiet one. It's just that when there's nobody else there, then I got used to talking all the time non-stop. And now I'm called the dictator because I'm talking all the time. But it's just conditioning because there was nobody else who did the talking. So if anybody else wants to contribute, if anybody else suggests something, be my guest, abso-fucking-lutely. So James, yes, if you wanna go ahead, please do.
Well, no, my first question is, can you hear me?
Of course.
Okay, good. I didn't know if my mic's working or not. Regarding the end times, like I actually know, you know how al-Zakari, and he was in Al-Qaeda before he died. You know what his goal for end times was, and how it's being continued right now through ISIS. So you know, like there's a little bit of sense I know of how it's their version of how the end times goes. If you need someone to do any research, you know, for any other kind of ways, I had no trouble with taking the week and studying.
Brilliant. I mean, if you want to do like, you have the floor by all means. Take as much time as you want.
Is it gonna be like the end time workshop next week?
Well, we're going to have two, feminism and end times, because I wanted to do this today because I collected a couple of things. It's the start of the next life, angels come and angels question, the Dajjal, the Antichrist, the Mahdi, the 12th hidden Imam and Shias. You have the Gog and Magog, you have Jesus building, sun from the west, smoke, mountain sliding, and blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to talk about these things, but I don't have that kind of deep knowledge about it. I just have the superficial stuff. So if somebody wants to go and do
I can
something,
research a little if I have time, but I can't promise I can be there next week.
Excellent. Then next week, I'm just going to sit here and have a beer and listen to you guys. Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The next time we're going to have feminism and end times, and people are going to read up about this and come up with some brilliant stuff. Excellent. Guys, thank you very much. This was a brilliant session today. And once again, Walid, thank you very much for popping in.
Yes.
Please feel free to update us anytime if you like it.
Okay. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Jinn&Tonic, I have one question.
Sure.
Yes.
How do I do the research? Do I just collect the hadith and read to you and we discuss it, or I have to comment on that and something like that?
Well, ideally, what you do is you take the top-down approach and you say, okay, what does it say in the Quran? What does it say in the Hadith? What is the opinion of the scholars? How does it go? How is it implemented in fiqh? What is there any kind of consensus on this? And just give us a quick rundown, just a couple of minutes, just to to do an introduction, not an in-depth one, and just show how it's substantiated in the Quran and in the Hadith, and show just some examples.
Okay, I'll try. But I thought I would concentrate on Quran and Hadith, but not on commentaries of some people, some scholars.
You can do that any which way. I mean, it's you are the owner. You can go.
All right, thank you.
Okay, James, you don't really have a problem with the microphone. It's just a little bit soft. I don't know if this is your system settings or if this is something that doesn't gel too well with the Hangout software.
Well, I just turned up the gain. How about now?
Yeah, now it's perfectly out. The thing what I can do, because this is what I did with Walid. I also pushed his microphone up because it was a little bit too soft. Okay, say 15. James?
You want me to say 15?
Okay, there you go. So I can push that a little bit up as well if you are too soft.
No, like the way I have my system set up, so I'm using a mixer, and that's how I'm operating the whole thing. I don't have a USB microphone or anything like that. So I'm actually using an XLR condenser mic. So for me, I had to break this whole thing out and had to play around with it, and I kept getting reverb, my testing. So I mean, it was down. But I was just kind of really paranoid about the whole reverb issue.
If you stay after the show, I can try to guide you.
Okay, sounds pretty good.
Okay.
All right, then I'm going to
you heard that
leave you, talk to you next week. Thank you very much. This was the 1st of May edition of the Gin and Tonic Show. See you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.